solid today, that geometric solid is a cone. And so our objective today is that we're going to want to be able to take that cone and find the lateral area, the surface area, and the volume. So the formal definition of a cone is you have a geometric solid that has a circular base. So think of a circle on the base, and then everything is going to go up to a point at the vertex. So that's what a cone is. It kind of looks like this right down here. So the first thing that we want to be able to find is we want to find the lateral area. So the formula for lateral area is pi times r times L. That L is slant height. So slant height. So a lot of people, when they look at a picture of it, see this 13 and they think, hey, that's going to be my slant height. But this is actually going to be a right angle here, which means that 13 is actually your height. So to find L, you need to find this distance here, which that's your slant height. So let's go through the steps. First step is finding the radius. Well, the radius is just from the center point to the outside of the circle. So my radius is just going to be 4 centimeters. And then my slant height, sometimes it'll be given to you. If it's not, then just treat this as the Pythagorean theorem. So c squared, or the hypotenuse squared, is equal to a squared plus b squared. And so when I go through and do that, I get that my slant height is going to be equal to 185. And then I just have to square root both of those sides right there. So square root that. And so the square root of 185 comes out to be about 13.6. And so the slant height here is just going to be 13.6 centimeters. So now all I have to do is just input these values into that formula. So it's just going to be pi times radius times my slant height. And I can go ahead and solve that. Now, if your answer needs to be in terms of pi, just multiply that 4 and that 13.6. And when you do that, you get that your answer would come out to be 54.4 pi. And then that's centimeters. And so that would be if it's in terms of pi. If you want it as a decimal, all you'd have to do is just do 54.4 times pi. And when I do that, it comes out to be 170.9 rounded. And so 170.9, and that's square centimeters. I should have that on there since we're dealing with an area. So it's square centimeters. So that's the lateral area. Now the surface area is going to be very similar to it. You first need to find the lateral area, but then you're going to add the area of the base to it. So the lateral area we said was just 170.9 centimeters squared. The area of the base, since this is a circle, that means that the area of my base is just going to be pi r squared. And so when I do that, I can just plug my r in, which is 4. So I'd get 4 squared times pi. And so if I wanted it in terms of pi, I'd just have 16 pi. And if I didn't want it in terms of pi, then I could plug that into my calculator. But I'm going to leave it in terms of pi. So surface area is equal to your lateral area plus your base. Oops, let me undo that there. So plus my base. So my base is just 16 pi. And so again, if I wanted this in terms of pi, I could write 54.4 pi down, and then that 16 pi down. And if I add those together, I could get that my surface area comes out to be 70.4 pi. And again, that's centimeters squared. So that would be in terms of pi. If I wanted it as a decimal, all I need to do is just plug that into my calculator. And when I plug it into my calculator, I get 221.2 rounded square centimeters. And so that's what I have there. Your surface area should always be bigger than your lateral area. All right, lastly, volume of a cone, very similar, but all you're going to do is take the area of the base, which we said that was 16 pi, and then the height in this case here was that 13. So once we know that it's 13, then we can just plug it into our formula. So it's going to be 1/3 times the area of the base times my height. And so if I just plug all of that there into my calculator, I would get 1/3 times 16 pi times 13. And if I plug all of that into my calculator, it comes out to be 217.82. So 217.8. So we'd say 217.8. And volume is going to be in cubic terms. So it would be 217.8 cubic centimeters. You could leave that in pi if you really wanted to, but typically we're going to have volume as a decimal. And so that's what you need to know about surface area, lateral area, and volume of a cone.